Hey there, it's Jen, and I'm here to bring you a new process video for Elle's Studio using the December kit and the coordinating extras. I am doing I'm going to take, the December kit has some holiday themed stuff in it, but also has some New Year's stuff in it, and I love that pretty much every year Ellie includes some sort of journaling tag that has kind of like a favorites list or currently list for the year. And so this card says favorites from this year. I've already filled it out with my favorite moment, food, place, TV show, book, song, and activity. And I printed a photo of me sitting on the Oregon coast, which was my favorite moment of the year. So that's how I'm tying those in together. And so I'm just creating kind of this favorites page about my favorites from the year, and I'm thinking I want to use a white background, thinking of matting the entire layout maybe on this blue paper. I like the way that it has the light and the dark on the edges, or maybe the black and white. And my other plan is that I want to use these monthly Puffy stickers. There's all the months of the year in here on white, and so I thought it would be fun to make them kind of a feature on the layout. So I want to make a square of all of the months of the year, and maybe the year in there too, 2017, not 2018 I'll do, and kind of surround the photo. So it'll be subtle, but it will have all of those on there. So that's where I'm starting. I have a few die cuts and some vellum shapes, and then I also have these pulled out that I might use as well. And that's where I'm going to start. So I will link up all of these products in the video description so you can find where those are, but I'll go ahead and put you on fast forward and talk you through my process.
Okay, so I'm going to start by pulling off a huge piece of wax paper so I can figure out how I'm going to put these months in kind of a square or rectangle shape around my photos. So I'm just going to pull them all up and lay them down and try to, what I'm trying to do is make it so that I don't have to cut any of the months in half or anything. I just want them to be able to be their whole self, if that makes sense, around the photos. And it's not going to be perfect, and you'll see that here as I kind of work on it a little bit. I think that I like the wax paper because I don't want to pull it up again and again from the background paper. So if you haven't tried using wax paper when you're putting on a title or a bunch of stickers, then I really suggest it. So here's where I'm running into my first problem. The word December is way too long. It's not going to fit there, and I need to shuffle things around a little bit. So what I'm going to do is put all of the shorter summer and spring months together so that I can put July on that same row, and then I'm going to move August and September over so that October can start at the end of September, and that's going to give me a bit more room there. And then I can shuffle around the January and February. So here's how it's kind of going to look, and I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a 1/2 inch off of either side of my white cardstock here, and that will give me a 1/4 inch border. I'm pretty sure that I want to go with that blue background. I feel like it fits the oceany photo well, and so I'm going to glue down my photos, and I'm not putting I'm putting adhesive on both of them and then kind of holding them together to try to figure out where the center of the layout is. And I decided to put a little space between them because I thought it might be nice to stitch through the center. So my plan is to stitch around all of these puffy words. I want to stitch through them in a rectangle around the photo, and then I thought it would be nice to just carry that stitching through the center of the photos as well. So you'll see that here in just a little bit. But now what I'm doing is going ahead and putting those stickers onto my paper, and I'm just kind of lightly tapping them on. I'm not pushing them down really hard because just in case I need to pull them up a little bit, I want to be able to have that flexibility. And I'm using my the little pokey tool, what is that called? A paper piercer, to poke the holes out of the centers of some of the letters. Now I felt like there's not an equal amount of spacing at the top and bottom, so I moved my favorites card up just a little bit so I could move my letters a little bit more away from the bottom edge. And in the end, there's a little bit more space on the right as well, and that kind of bugs me, but it's done, and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to let it bother me too much. It does bother me a little though, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to go ahead and get these down, and like I mentioned, I do have to shuffle them a little bit, and at this point I had forgotten that I wanted to also include the year 2017 in here, and so there's obviously not going to be enough room. I can barely fit the months there, but I'm going to try. So I'm kind of tapping down the letters a little harder now, and I just noticed I'm wearing the same sweatshirt that I was wearing in the photograph in the photo. Yeah, in the picture, which is fun. So I went ahead and cut off the branding strip of that background paper because I'm pretty sure I want to commit to that. So I'm just putting a little bit of adhesive on the back because, like I mentioned, I'm going to stitch through all of those puffy stickers. And so now I'm remembering that I want to do the 2017, so I'm thinking I might be able to just put it on the bottom of the photo. But while I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to go ahead and pull over my sewing machine, and I just have white thread in it, and I'm just going to stitch around that. And here I'm showing you a little bit of a close-up. I've stitched through all of the months and through the center. And now I'm going to pull the threads through to the back and just use some washi tape to hold those down. If I don't let the threads hang on the front, I like to pull them to the back so I can make sure they're nice and secure and that things aren't going to unravel over time. And so I usually do that. And so I just put the washi tape on and then cut off the little threads that are still hanging down. And that background would have been fun to use as well, but I wanted this to be kind of subtle. So now I'm pulling out some of the embellishments that I had decided I wanted to use, and I really want to use that little die cut that says the best, and that's from the December kit. And I decide to use these gray letters, which is going to bring in the gray from the favorites card above them, and I like how they're a little bit smaller than the word the best. And so at this point I'm thinking, if I'm going to use that little die cut that says the best, let's bring in some more yellow. So I'm going to use the little asterisk shapes for some more yellow around the page so I can have it in 3 different places. That kind of bounces your eye from the photo to the year and then to the journaling, which I like. And then the months just become kind of an afterthought. And so I put a little bit of blue in each cluster as well. So I put the 2 blue dots in the top and bottom, and then I'm putting a little blue asterisk in the middle there, and that's just to carry over the color of the blue but the shape of the asterisk that's in the other clusters, but that's not in this one because my pop of yellow is in the die cut. So I'm happy with the way that looks, and I'm trying to think if I want to add anything else. I kind of feel like the outside edges are pretty plain, and here you can really see that there's a little bit more space on the right than there is on the left, but like I said, I'm just leaving it. I contemplated doing some staples somewhere. I'm just trying to find another little detail I can add. And I decide to look at my mists and see if I can bring in a little bit of that light blue color that's around the edge, but that's not found in the layout. And so I'm using Heidi Swap Color Shine in Ocean, and I'm just shaking the little bottle up to make sure it's nice and shaken so that the shiny part is all distributed through, and then I'm just splattering it in my 3 areas of embellishment. And I thought I might stop there. I'm using a baby wipe to just wipe the paint or the splatters off of the puffy stickers because they're not going to dry on there, so I just am going to wipe them off. And I decided at this point maybe I wanted to add yellow, and then I thought no, let's add gray, and then I thought even better, let's add some silver because it's a little bit softer than gray. So I'm just using some super old Tattered Angels mist in tinsel, I think is the color, and sprinkling a little bit of that, and that is going to finish off my layout. So if you haven't tried a kind of year in review page like this, I definitely recommend it. That favorites card is perfect as I meant. Here are some close-up photos. I hope that you've enjoyed, and I will link to all of the products in the video description below. Thanks so much for joining me, and head over to the Elle Studio blog for more information. We'll see you soon.